Hey there guys, this is Victor with Victor Vector JKU. We're back for part 6 of the Evo Rockskin Builder Corners and part 5 of the tube flares I am building. Today we're going to be covering the final assembly of the builder corners. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so we wrapped up all the painting, clear coat, and we are ready for final assembly. So where I'm at right now is I have all of my lighting laid out in front of me that I'm going to be installing on these guys. So basically what I have is my Optronics 4-inch round taillights. These guys have a halo ring around the outside and the brake light illuminates the inner LEDs. And these guys are a flush mount, so basically what we'll do is we'll just install the grommet and then plug the light in, and that will hold it in place. I also have 2 additional 3/4 inch LED marker lights. What these guys are going to do is go in right here, and that's going to give a little bit more view off at an angle and from the side of the vehicle, because the flush mount taillights don't provide any sort of side lighting for brake or running lights. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running one as a running light, and that's going to be the upper one, and then the lower one's going to be a brake turn signal. Similar to my other wiring harnesses, cut the existing harness off of the back of the taillight, spliced in the new taillight harness, along with putting additional leads for the 3/4 inch marker lights. And then I also have my KC-C2s, which I'm relocating from the rear bumper on the sides pointed outwards to the new location here in the rear corner. I'm going to go ahead and install the 3/4 inch marker lights and the KC-C2s. Get those done before I go to install it on the Jeep. Install it on the Jeep, and then at that point I'll go ahead and make all my connections, install these, and we'll be done with that. So I'm going to go ahead and install the lights real quick, and then we'll get moved over to the Jeep. Alright, there we go. So, I got my KC and my 2 3/4 inch marker lights. This guy is ready to be slapped on. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this on the other side now. Alright guys, so we have all the lights installed on the corner armor over next to me, and it is ready to go in. So, just to cover a couple things real quick, so you guys saw when I painted the outer portion of the rear fender. Now, I decided later that I also wanted to go back and retouch up the inner fender as well as the mounting surface of the factory flares. So I hit with white paint as well as a clear coat on this panel and the entire inner fender, because since I decided to go with the color scheme that I did, doing the black highlight on just the tube but leaving the rest of the body panel for the armor white, I thought it would look really good with everything just fresh painted white, all matching, and so that's the direction I decided to go with there. So did that, and we're ready to go ahead and throw this all on. So what I'm going to do is I already got my 12 fasteners here for installing the corner armor, and I already have one fastener set up on my gun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start just getting one in place real quick, and then I'm going to start going around and just hitting a couple others and just loosely putting them in place, not tight. And one area that I know that I have a tendency to set the corner armor down on is the bumper. I don't want to scratch the corner armor, so what I'm doing is I'm just laying this here so it will protect that surface. Alright, and so what I'm going to do is I will just set this down on the bumper a little bit here. And I have to route at least the KC-C2 harness through the body panel and make sure that these guys don't get squished in the process of mounting this. Alright guys, so what I'm doing is I just have a ratchet strap hooked up to the hinge over on this side. I just have it wrapped around and hooked onto the frame on the inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and pull this guy in slowly and get him to the point that I can put the fastener in place. Cool, so we got that guy installed. Now let's go and tighten in any of the fasteners. we go. So that finishes up the install of the driver's side. Now the last thing I gotta do is make all my connections with my harnesses. Alright guys, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is hook up my spliced in harness. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the existing harness that's in there. I'm gonna go ahead and make that connection until you hear the click. And then I have my two whites are my ground, my black is my running light, and my red is my brake light and turn signal. Alright, so I've identified the top one, and so what I'm gonna be doing is running black to black, white to white. So my white is my ground for both cases. And then for my lower one, I'm going to be going black to red and white to white. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my bezel into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this stuff all through. Make sure it's seated properly. And then we're going to go ahead and connect our light. Then we can go ahead and put all the harness back inside the hole. And now before I go and push this guy in completely, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick test and make sure all the lights are functioning properly. So first we have our running lights on. So you can see the halo is illuminated along with the top marker light. Then if I put on the emergency flasher, you can see that everything lights up, including the center ring. And then I also have the turn signal indicator as well. And then brake light. And then one other thing we'll also test is the KCC2, which this guy is also functioning right now perfectly as well. So we are all good to go with all the lighting. This guy. I'm going to work on installing the gas filler bezel. Now the reason for this, doing this now versus waiting until after I put that in, is if I need to have access in behind for any reason, I still can reach my hand through here and get in here and do any work that I need to do. So what we'll first do is we'll go ahead and pull off the gas filler cap. All right, and then with our gas filler bezel, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and bring him back into place. We'll go ahead and start by slipping him on over the fill neck. And this is an area where it will be useful to reach in from the backside and give some back pressure. And have him go over just like that. And then we'll go ahead and feed him back through the hole of the cutout. Just like so. All right, so we got him back into place, snapped in well. All we have to do is then rehook up our detent for the gas filler cap. And we are good to go. All right, now we can go ahead, with that done, we can go and install our tail light and push him in until he seats, just like so. With that, that wraps up completely the driver's side. All right, so there we go, guys. That's gonna basically wrap up the DIY final install of my tube flares built off the Evo builder corners for my Jeep JKU Project Vector. I am pretty stoked with the end result of this. I gotta say, I am really happy with how this all turned out. And I am super excited to finally get her back on the trail, because this project has taken me 3 weeks to go through, with a few little mishaps here and there, a couple things with the paint. But for the most part, the fabrication went fairly smooth, just a little bit slower because I only had a couple of hours every evening to work on this over the last 3 weeks. And then I did have some weekends too, but I was also busy doing some other stuff. But I gotta say, all in all, I am really happy with how this turned out. I am excited to get her out on the trail and test it, see how it all holds up, and also moving over to LED lights. I'm happy about that. It's flush mounted. I don't have to worry about my tail light popping off again. And my KCC2 here is also well protected. He's tucked in tight, and I do have him being protected by the fender flare. So really excited about that. And yeah, so with that, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. I hope that you enjoyed the content that I put together, and I hope that you enjoyed my build series for my rear tube flares. If you did, definitely hit the thumbs up button for me, give this video a like, and then drop any questions, comments, or other feedback that you have in the video comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions about stuff, any feedback about what I did, love to hear from you guys. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and also share this video to help me grow my channel so I can get more visibility out there and help out more off-road enthusiasts. Otherwise, guys, we are Victor Vector JKU, and we're taking on this build and the trails, both direction and magnitude. Alright guys, have a good one. Catch you next time.